Welcome everybody back to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition unofficial. No, modern. Scratch that, it's modern. We're in 1.20, not back in that other one. Can't remember how far back that is. I'll have to take a look at that later. Anyways, last time we got our pyrolysis oven up and running. This is our first step to get into some different oil productions and plastic production with the wood tar. Now, as that's the first step that we needed to take, the next step we need to take is into a couple other machines. As our getting to the distillery, we have to complete both getting a wood tar bucket as well as getting a biomass bucket. And once we have both of those, we can get into the distillery stuff. So we're going to go ahead and look at getting the biomass with the brewery. You can get it with the pyrolysis oven, but I figured we make a brewery just because we can also use it to make potions. So we're going to go ahead and make this basic brewery because we don't need anything special right now. And really we're just doing it so that we can unlock the quest to look at the distillery and see what kind of stuff we need. So we need that, we need this. I think it's 2 glass, 1 of these, and 2 of these. And that should make us our brewery. And I think we looked at it last time, that it makes lubricant from redstone and creosote/oil. Lubricant has some niche uses, namely being used in the cutter to significantly reduce the duration of the recipe. That is the other reason I want it, because now we can put some lubricant in the cutter when we're done making it. And we can get what we need there. But now that we've got that, we can look at making biomass. So either to do that, we need biochaff into the pyrolysis oven, which I don't really want to clog this stuff up. Or we get water, and we can put basically a ton of different styles of crops in. We even have tons of saplings, so we can go ahead and put in 10 of those and get that done relatively quickly. As from the looks of it, this is what we're going to need to make ethanol. So if we put our bucket of water in, go grab out 10 saplings, we can get our brewery started on making us that biomass. Now, in the meantime, there were a couple other machines that I wanted to get done besides the biomass. I guess we only need one or the other to get the thing. And so now we got a bunch more redstone we can go ahead and plop away. The other machines that I was going to look at making are, we've got a few of them. So we need the distillery, we'll wait on that. I wanted to get into making this basic miner, as we can make a thing now with this. The digital miner is lets us mine ores without having to delve into the ground. And then there'll be ways for us to pipe it back rapidly, which I'm kind of excited to do. So I don't think I did this previously. But this kind of soul will mine ores for you when placed above a vein. Vertical range is unlimited below, and below the miner, horizontal range is displayed in the tooltip. The MV variant may not have the range to mine a full vein, but the HP variant does. So you may wish to hold off for now. Get either to complete this quest, which is not true. It lets you get any of them. You will need power. Charged batteries may work, but they tend to run out of power, which is a bit inconvenient. Our top suggestion is to use a filled drum with some kind of fuel. If you are using steam, no dice. And a generator. Place the drum above your generator and right-click it with a screwdriver to output into the generator. So this is one of the things we're working on, why I wanted to work on the distillery. But we can get that up and running. I believe it's just this. 3 motors, 2 of these, 1 of these, and 2 circuits. And that will give us our basic miner. And while this doesn't mine whole swaths, this will actually make it to where I can just place something down, forget about it, have it piped back, and we can keep running all of our different things that process ores, as currently one of the next things I want to get into requires a lot of iron ore. So I've been trying to get as much iron ore as I can, as we need the greenhouse to be able to keep running this pyrolysis oven. As currently now, chopping trees down to run it through is way too inefficient and not fast enough. As I chopped all the trees down, I think it was done in like 10 minutes. It was done with all of the trees that I told it to be done to do. So that was definitely not a thing. We're almost getting real close to our biomass amount that we need. And then once we do that, we've got the distillery stuff set up to make. So we'll go ahead and make the basic distillery, as that one's going to be fairly easy for us to power currently. And I can even pop up one of these things to power exclusively the distillery, as I had it on there because I knew I was going to power multiple machines on this stack, because we have the lathe, we have the arc furnace that I've been making more what's it called? Wrought iron in there, because the wrought iron recipe is just stick it in there. You don't have to do the nugget thing. It just transfers it over. And as wrought iron is used to make all of the different machine casings, it's kind of important to keep up with. But now for the distillery, we'll go ahead and pop that machine together while we're waiting. Got glass. 2 more electronic circuits. One of those, our electric pump. I don't think we need anything but, the coil and the wires. And so that will allow us to make our distillery. So that's done. We'll hold on to that in our inventory once again. And the last thing that we're going to make, we're not going to be able to use it for a second, is ourselves a basic gas turbine to be able to power the basic miner wherever we place it without having to worry about making sure we shuffle stuff back and forth, as I have made an aluminum barrel which carries 128 buckets worth of fluid. So I plan on filling this up with as much fuel as I can, taking it out and setting it down for mining. I know that getting into plastics would be a good idea to start, but I think I'm a little bit a ways out of doing that, because I need to do some modifications to setup, build out some floors, tear this block down. This is no longer in use now that we have the pyrolysis oven that does this not only faster, but at a better ratio, as these only got 1 charcoal per 16, or per 1, and that one does 16 wood into 20 charcoal, so we get a better return even doing that over there. Anyways, getting into our gas turbine, we just needed the 3 tin rotors, 2 basic circuits, a LV machine hull, a tin cable, and an LV electric motor. So that's where we're going with that. We'll get our basic gas turbine, and we are so close. I did not expect to get all of that done in the meantime. While we're waiting for that last one to go, I can go ahead and show you what I've done down below. So I did some revamping. I opened up the floors. Currently, we're still piping the steam all the way around, as the least important machines are currently running off of brass fluid pipes. Even though they're the normal kind, they pass through steam at a much slower rate than the steel does. I did pipe out of the pyrolysis oven. It is now coming out and around. That looks so weird from the inside. I didn't realize that was the inside of them. I got some facades over it, because you can just craft that with any block and an iron plate to get facades. But the brass pipe comes out of the pyrolysis oven, taking our charcoal all the way over here for now, which then gets piped into our steam furnace, which, as I have been running a lot of machines, I had to crank it up to 80%. Especially due to the fact that I've been constantly running this with all the aluminum I've been getting, due to that electrolyzer allowing me to electrolyze more things. more of the like different gemstones that you couldn't electrolyze before. Like aldamine, I believe, is one of them. Yeah, MV, but it gives you 2 aluminum. So that is one of the biggest reasons you need to get into the MV stage pretty quickly, as those are not available to you until you do so. So get the sulfur back over here, and I think we're done with our biomass now. So we can take out our bucket of biomass to pass that quest, which gives us a little bit of biochaff, not that we need it right now. And then with the distillery, we've got, before we start here, are some important information if you are aiming to make ethylene. Taking the oil route will require at least an LV distillery, while biomass route will need a MV distillery. Get either to complete the quest. Got all that? Alright, let's discuss the complex topic, distillation. We try to help you understand how and why EMI recipes are the way they are, so stick with us. Nearly all the distillery recipes are duplicates from the distillation tower, except that they have one fluid output and void everything else. In other words, you could argue the distillery is an inferior distillation tower. This doesn't mean that the distillery is the worst of the two. It is unlocked earlier and is smaller, cheaper, and more energy efficient per recipe. Hell, in many cases, you might even mind losing the other fluids. Distilleries are essential component for power generation, whether you pick diesel or benzene. You probably want many of them at a low tier as possible to avoid energy loss from overclocking. For sure, since we can't underclock machines now, that is necessary. But it did talk about benzene. So benzene is a gas fuel. To skip some frustration, let's check out 2 best ways to obtain it. The first option is typically wood-based. Put logs into a pyrolysine oven for wood tar. The charcoal you'll obtain can be processed in extractors for even more wood tar, which distill for benzene. Your second option is heavy oil based. Put heavy oil in a distillery for heavy fuel, which you will severely steam crack and distill again for benzene. For information on how to process oil, check the light fuels and naphtha quest. In general, it is better to prioritize placing down more machines, parallelization, over overclocking the recipes. That way, you end up losing less energy to process the resources. Benzene is burned in a gas turbine. This power source starts weaker than its diesel cousin, but gets a big boost when refined into nitrobenzene and HV. Ultimately, your power source is your choice. So if we look at benzene, I was kind of So it looks like if we go into a distillery, light steam crack. So it does look like I need the MV version of our distillery to make our benzene. That was something I could have looked up earlier. I didn't realize that that was going to be a problem, but we can make that pretty quickly. And we'll just pop it onto the end over here somewhere. Might even have to just beef up the wires and process it directly in the back there. Do that. I beef up the wire. Probably do that if I beef up the wire there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut one. That's gonna be a fun thing to try to get around. I forgot about that. So if we go down, we can go down and back. Because we are going to have to beef up that wire. That's actually not going to work. I just realized that because that is a LV. We need MV. So, well, let's get the things going to make a MV distillery. MV distillery. So we need a copper nickel coil, 2 copper cables, 2 more of these larger circuits of electric MV pump. So let's get that. That requires the rubber ring. Let's do that one. So copper nickel coil is just the 2 large copper nickel, which I don't know if we have any. If we do have any extra, it's going to be over here. It's annealed copper. Yeah, nope. So 1, 2, oh, 1, 2. Nickel is there. 1, 2. Go toss it into our alloy furnace. And let's look at our... So we have 2, 1, 2. So that's enough for the 2 that we need. We need 1, 2 of those. 2, 3, 4. And what else do we need? We needed the copper wires and the soldering fluid, which I have enough for both of those. Wires in there. Pull out 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that should make us our things we need there. That will give us the 2 that we need. I want the wires in here. So this will be good to hold on to because I am going to get into oil production too, just not currently in the meantime. That gives us both of those. And then we need the copper nickel coils, which we were processing the stuff over here. Now we just need to lathe it on up. We get the 4 of those. So there's 2. To make the aluminum case, we need 9 pieces of aluminum, 2 pieces of wrought iron, 1 of those, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So do those there. That's till we can make some more of our pipes here. We're going to be piping fluids around, and I just want the small one, as we don't need a ton of... Basically need to go through these pipes as fast as this produces it, so we don't really need it to be that fast. So there's your plates. There's that coming down here. We got it on 8. This will get us all of what we need there. Now what else we got? We got the 2 glass copper nickel coil, which we've got it done in the lathe now. So now we can put that in the hammer forge, merge them together. Make our machine block, or machine casing, I guess, machine hull. Then we just need the glass. We need 2 more copper wires, 3, so there's 2 more crafts of it because we need that, and then we have the motor, 3 more crafts. I don't think I have any MV motors sitting around. Yeah, no, so we're gonna need 2 more pieces of aluminum, 1, 2, 3 more pieces of copper. I think it was, yeah, bronze screw and rotor, which bronze ingots are over here, so there's 4. I should still have some bronze screws. And then the pipe is a steel pipe, so we're going to need 3 of those. So 3 of those. That there. 4, 5, 6. Toss those in there. Switch the direction. Put those in there. That's going to create that. 3 across the top. Hammer, and there's that. We need 2 more of those to make the rings. We need a knife out. Need to make our rotor. So I need 2 of those. Forgot we need copper nickel for our mid-tier motors as well. So there's that. All done there. Oh, we needed 1 more steel. I guess the one thing I didn't talk about, though, is that I did upgrade the pipes that come out of my boiler here. So now they're the large versions. So they're double even the normal size versions that most of my pipes are. And they just kind of go up to the connection points so that all of the connection points can get fed what they need there. Put that in there. So we got copper wire. We've got our copper nickel that needs to be made into wire. I think we're almost done with everything. Just got to grab out our bronze rotor. Put that away in here for now. I don't need the knife anymore. That can go into this chest while we're waiting. Okay, and then we double it up. We have enough for 2, which we only need enough for 1. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Take the copper nickel coils out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Finishes that. And then it looks like the last thing we need to do is the bender. So we take this, put it in the bender. I guess that makes 1. Set that aside somewhere for now. And then we just gotta go grab our glass. So let's go grab our glass out. And we can put that down. Glass. Done. So now this is going to be kind of interesting, as the only free MV1 that I have right now is this one over here. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is I'm going to place it here. Drill out the floor around. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to take the floor out around it. Uh-oh, am I stuck? Alright, and that'll allow me to pipe stuff down from here. So now, if I go and do something like this, oh, of course I put away the pliers, which is something I could actually use. We come across 5, 6, 7. So that'll help we get all the way over. Now we're going to need to make sure we get like a battery buffer or something over here at some point. But then we've got power. I think now the next thing we need to look at is the benzene again. Benzene. And to do that in a distillery with wood tar, we need the number 3. Wanted to see this. So in the wood tar, we can do creosote, we can do benzene, toluene, phenol, and yeah, No, we'll do number 3. Number 3. And then for now, we will auto output to the left over here. And we will place our aluminum drum down so that I can get working on that. And now, if I come over here to this one and just say, go ahead and drain, it will start pumping all of that fluid over. And there we go. So now we are quite literally cooking with gas. And then as soon as that's up and running, we can take our digital miner out with the barrel full of gas and let it mine out some stuff. Honestly, kind of want to see how it works with something with the steam one, but I know for a fact the steam one's not going to last very long, so it'd be kind of one of those, like, we could display it in action really quick, and I think I can yoink. Wait, no. Did I just see one in one of these chests? Hello? Oh no, it was in my inventory. It's the gas one. But we can yoink one of these, because one of these is not working. One of these is basically doing nothing. That, because 2 of them is kind of enough to deal with what we're doing with that. But we can take out that. Let's go ahead and get us... Do I have an empty barrel over here? Chlorine, hydrogen, oxygen. Nope. And that one's filled with wood tar. Well, I'll put the biochaff away in this chest, as this is more of like what is needed for future things. And then... Do I have another barrel anywhere? I don't think I do. I don't really want to make another aluminum one, as we're kind of low on aluminum. But we could do another steel barrel really quick and just kind of see how it works. I know it won't last long, but I can plop it down in the area that I want, mark it, and let it start doing its deal. I mean, I can even look at seeing if there's a ore vein underneath us. I mean, there's one right over here. We got a copper vein. So we can just come right on over here and let it build out right there. This one and this one. So if it's going to be right about here, let's go there. Let's go there. And I could even pipe in some steam over here, which I might just do, since this one's going to be close enough to base. And then I guess we just need a crate of some sort on top. So let's look up a steel crate. So that's just 4, so we need a total of 12, and then it's on a number 4, it said. Number 1. Okay. So we'll just stuff that in there. Take this out, put that in there. Barrel, I believe, was a 2. Yep. And even if we don't use it for this, we can use it for other things in the future, because, like, we're out of space for our hydrogen gas, but our electrolyzer is full of it. As you can see, we've got plenty of hydrogen. Like, I think chlorine we have a little bit more space for, but not a lot. So that gives us that. Oh, and of course it's got to rain on our parade when we're about to get through this. We need this on a 1 steel drum. crate. While that happens, let's come get a full drum of this. Right there. Oh, and as for the lava that's down there, I found out that it's kind of like not going to be a useful thing to have that many, so we're probably going to tighten that back up and maybe only make one just so that we have it, as apparently almost all of the farms that involve doing stuff with that basically require you to stand there AFK, and I'm not doing that because when you have fuel that you have to worry about, you end up running into problems. And there we go. It's now doing its thing, and it's mining its blocks. And there we go. It's doing its job. Pretty awesome. Doing it kind of slow, but it'll work. It'll do its job for now. We just wanted some kind of automation on that, as, you know, going out, stopping everything you're doing, manufacturing at home, can end up making the process a lot more tedious when you have to stop everything to go figure out stuff. And that is kind of all of that. And then I will probably get started on setting some stuff for next time, so that next time we can build the greenhouse. As once we have the greenhouse going, making fuel down here is going to be way easier, as one of our biggest problems currently is the fact that we are going to run out of wood tar. And I think we're almost already there at this point. I think we are there. Yeah, we're out of wood tar already. So this is the max amount of fuel that I'm going to be able to get into here until I get more wood. And just to kind of show you how quickly it goes through, I can come out and chop down these trees. And, like, I literally watched it chew through the entire amount of the full chop of a tree farm like this in about 5-10 minutes. I walked away for 5 minutes to build some of the components. I didn't even get all of the components of one machine done before I turn around, and not only is the drawer that I had stored it in empty, but the pyrrolysine oven was off and there was nothing in its input. So I was like, that's not... Like, it's nice it's going that fast, but that's not good, because I'm going to run out of stuff to do with that. And I guess there was one last thing I ended up doing that I can kind of show off after we replant all of our trees, just because we want these growing again, so that I'm not entirely running out of fuel until I get that greenhouse up. I have to go grab more, but... Watch. So we've got 4 stacks. That goes directly into there. And so now we only have 1 log left in there. And as you'll see, it goes by really quickly. I think I can grab... I have that key. I want that. Oh. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. I do kind of want that to show me, though. I do like having the ability to see how much of stuff is in there. But as you can see, it's already chewed through that very first one. So we quite very much do not have a whole lot coming for us right now. And... that's fine as of currently, because we can make a ton of charcoal really quickly, and we don't need to worry about it because the charcoal doesn't get consumed that much. But if we start relying on the benzene for any power here at the base, that's going to be an absolute no-go, as the charcoal will be pretty fine. And I did put an emerald upgrade onto this, so it can now hold 64 times the limit that it can handle, so we won't have a problem with charcoal space as we do more. But again, the benzene's going to be our biggest thing that we need, and I don't really want to avoid charcoal, as that's something else that we need for other stuff too. But this will allow us to get that other part open, and one of the other reasons I needed to wait is I've been refining the magnetite, trying to get as much stuff out of it, so we've probably got plenty more stuff here. I was gonna look at this. I don't think I really care for the rest of oh no, I do want the tricalcium phosphate, so that is supposed to go in this other chest now. But yeah, I've been needing to let this ore washer go and get stuff through so that we can smelt stuff. But as currently this, even though we've got a long timer, this charcoal, if it runs out, we're kind of going to be back to slow gains of burning everything in coal coke ovens after that. And so just kind of need to progress. So for next time, we are for sure going to get that greenhouse going. It's nice to get some other fuel sources ready to be able to help us power that stuff when it comes to it, as the other issue we're now having, that steam generation is not going to cut it. We cannot pipe it around the base fast enough. So, but it is exciting to know that our power is going to get more efficient and better off as we go through. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, bye!